Greetings and salutations, fellow displaced citizens of the former Sokovia. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by the boy.
Hey!
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today we're responding to a suggestion from a fan, a good friend of us, who posed a question. And I feel like there's a lot of other questions and ideas to kick around this question, but the basic premise was, what if Ultron, through whatever means, won Age of Ultron? He pulled a Kefka as he desired.
Got his vision, got his fancy new vision body, and thus, with its increased power and lack of the vision, was able to just win. He just wins.
And the follow-up, what happens when Thanos shows up?
Because if Vision wins, he has the mind, or if Vision Ultron, we'll just go with Ultron. Ultravision. If Ultravision wins, that's way better. Then
I'm a fucking writer. Speaking of which, hey, you can buy my books and the links in the description. You can support me on Patreon. I don't really ask for much. A couple of bucks would be cool. In fact, if like a quarter of the people I knew each gave $1, I wouldn't have to work. I could make more content for y'all. And I've got ideas, but like, I'm on vacation right now. Also, in that Patreon, we have a wonderful subscriber. His name is Rob, and we appreciate him dearly. We could verbally appreciate you dearly on the podcast as well. If only you would respond to my e-begging.
Pass the hat around, motherfucker.
Yeah, come on.
But, so yeah, if Ultravision wins, he still has the Mind Stone. And even if he, oopsie doodles a whole humanity, the Time Stone is still on Earth.
So, like, one of the first questions I feel we need to answer is how much of humanity accidentally gets, not accidentally, how much of humanity gets oopsie doodled? Which, like, seems obvious. Ultron, say, drop continent extinction level event.
Ultron, Robot Man.
No, many smart.
Ultron, right, probably.
Probably.
But there are two scenarios there. One, him being just completely right and all the humans die, that's kind of more boring. And two, like, there is information Ultron's not privy to.
And we don't know how much, because this entire time Vision has been quietly hiding from him on the internet and fucking with him.
Yeah. So he's been keeping away nuclear codes from him and presumably other things. Most especially, I think, at the very minimum, Wakanda survives this.
I believe Wakanda could survive, yeah. I think also there is an outside chance that your Ant-Man is quantum at the time, or small enough not to get destroyed.
Yeah, because it's kind of up in the air as to, like, I think Ant-Man takes place after Age of Ultron chronologically, but even if it's not Scott Lang, Hank Pym will probably run to the quantum realm on account of being a coward.
Or even just being really small. I mean, we don't know exactly what kind of, are the people on the farthest end of the Earth from Sokovia going to get hit by the backdraft or whatever?
Well, actually, it would be an extinction level event in the same way that meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs would be.
Right, and a lot of shit survived that.
So it would be sort of a long, drawn-out process. Because, yeah, the initial impact and crater would fuck a whole lot of stuff up. Europe would mostly be fucked, I imagine. And probably parts into Western Asia. But the chief problem is mostly just that it's going to kick up a humongous ash cloud that's going to blot out the fucking sun. If it weren't for the fact that all of the Avengers are on the island with him...
Well, most of the Avengers.
Most of the Avengers are on the island with him at the time. I would honestly say that it might not end up being an extinction level event, because I'm pretty sure Tony Stark could do something about that ash cloud.
If he survived, yeah. Now, most notably, like, we can have our candy and nuts. But most notably, you definitely still have Thor and Loki. You definitely still have
I don't know that Thor. Would Thor survive having a fucking meteor dropped on his head?
I mean, he might just leave.
Yeah, I mean, because the Bifrost was working at that point. He might just be like, all right, well, this is doomed. Bye.
Well, I suppose Thor was there at the time. I always forget about him. He doesn't make much of an impact for me in that movie. So you have Loki. You have who the heck am I thinking about? Read my mind. The other sorcerers.
Yeah, you have the folks at the Camartage. Probably Strange by that point, chronologically.
It's roughly. Maybe...
Ragnarok takes like a week after.
Yeah.
No, I suppose he does go around the Nine Realms doing stuff for a while. So, like, you might have Doctor Strange at that point chronologically. Doctor Strange is sort of chronologically untethered from the rest of the MCU. Maybe that's why it's missing the vibe.
Maybe. You may or may not have Doctor Strange at that point.
You may or may not have Doctor Strange. You will definitely have a Hulk. You will definitely have a Loki. Neither one's on Earth.
Doesn't Hulk leave at the end of Age of Ultron?
Oh, that's right, he does. So maybe you do not.
Well, I don't know if that would kill the Hulk.
Oh, he's not comics Hulk. But he does leave before the island drops.
True. Yeah, I think so. I mean, but even if he's in the air or something. I mean...
Like, he runs... it's a very complicated series of events to get him into a Quinjet. And I don't know that they happen if Ultron is Vision.
Right. So, like, in that sense, we may or may not have a Hulk. We have either the Ancient One or...
Stephen Strange.
We may or may not have an Ant-Man and or a Wasp.
You'll have a Spider-Man.
I mean, that Spider-Man's getting killed by the extinction level event.
He's still Spider-Man, provided New York doesn't get exploded. He'll probably last a while in the weird, gray, post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, it depends on how much we're talking this actually does in terms of damage. You probably still have a Spider-Man. I don't know that he's going to go fight Ultron.
No, he's probably busy trying to find food for his aunt.
Yeah, and this is not a Tony Stark-sponsored Spider-Man. He doesn't come till later, so he's just a guy in his fucking pajamas.
Yep.
I think the biggest... Well, and we said Wakanda. You probably have a Wakanda.
Well, because you got to remember... Ultron's plan changed.
Yes.
When he didn't get the Vision body. Originally, he planned on killing most of humanity, leaving the strong to survive.
True.
It was originally supposed to be a purifying event to help humanity evolve. And then he got really bitter when Dad stole his new toy, so he decided to kill all of humanity. So in the version where he got his new toy, he's not going to drop the thing and then go around individually killing all the humans that remain, which is probably his plan now.
Well, and if I may, if that version of events happens, Ultron is definitely going to kill Tony Stark, but there would be enough superheroes left alive that I think you can manage.
Tony's dead. Cap's dead. He's not leaving that island, so he's going to go down with it. Romanov, Clint, they're not making it because they're not leaving Cap.
Well, I mean, if he goes with his original, I get my Vision body.
He was still gonna do it. He wasn't gonna be as high up.
Well, and he might have gone through a more efficient way of just using his army to purge people. I don't know. Anyway, I think there'd be enough decent leftovers, and Thanos would look like enough of a threat that Ultron and or the people who kicked Ultron's ass would finish the job. Hell, Thanos might come down, fucking yoink the stone out of Ultron, and the Avengers are like, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore, but that guy seems like a problem.
I for me, the scenario where he gets the Vision, where he becomes Ultra Vision, very much ends with Ultron as the wannabe benevolent dictator of all of humanity.
Yes, and I think that scenario is just a clear path to a victory not dissimilar to the movies.
Honestly, it might even be more efficient than the movies.
Yeah.
Like, there probably wouldn't be a snap. I know this might sound a little silly, but I'm kind of barracking that Ultron kills Thanos a lot better than the Avengers did, actually.
Maybe. He's not meat. He's not as weak in thought. I mean, he does have weaknesses in thought. That's illustrated by the movie.
He's Tony Stark's kid.
Yeah, but he is also Tony Stark's better kid. He will think of plans sooner than Tony does and doesn't have the weird damage.
Now, to be fair, we know Thanos is stronger than the Vision. That's very clearly illustrated. Vision gets his shit pushed in by Corvus Glaive, of all people. So, Ultron wouldn't be able to stand up toe to toe with Thanos like Thor can. But he would have a bajillion Ultron robots by that point.
Yeah.
More Ultron robots than Thanos sends to Earth. Which brings the conflict elsewhere. Because the majority of what Thanos does in Infinity War, the way he's able to curb stomp everyone is because he already has most of the Infinity Stones by the time he gets to Earth. Mm-hmm. So I think Ultron definitely does a better job repelling the alien invasion because one world government run by benevolent robot dictator is kind of going to be on the watch for alien invasions.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of Illuminatis without an Ultron, so, that doesn't help things. My point is, I don't feel like that's the more interesting, exploratory, we could end the podcast now if Ultron wins in that way. So let's say he doesn't get his vision body, he just happens to win Sokovia.
Okay.
So, because I feel like that's the only way we can move forward and, discuss this, as opposed to, yeah, that seems like a swoosh.
That's fair. Fair.
So, we have a limited number of Avengers. The heavy hitter I feel like we still have are, A, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and anyone related to them, and, of course, Captain Marvel. Does Captain Marvel get to notice that something's happened to Earth? How good is Nick Fury's finger on the button?
So he called the captain when people started disappearing, right? Mm-hmm. If it looks like Ultron is actually going to successfully drop an island on the Earth, I feel like he pages his old friend.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think she gets there in time to do anything about it.
No.
But she, as is her flight name, she can't save the Earth, but she'll damn well show up and avenge it.
I feel like that's a very big threat to Ultron, who I don't think could personally take on Thanos. Just him.
No, well, I mean, especially without the Vision body, already we know Vision is stronger than Ultron.
Right.
And Ultron's vibranium body is not as powerful as the Vision. He doesn't have the Mind Stone. He doesn't have half the powers. He's good, but he's not good enough to stand up to Thanos, and that includes not being good enough to stand up to Captain Marvel. Right. She would wreck him.
Yeah, but that becomes a little interesting, and does begin to beg questions about. There's a theory that you could suggest he's not even there. The Ultron problem has been handled by other fucking people by the time Thanos shows up.
Yeah, all right. So that's our first. That's something we need to nail down. Even if Ultron wins, even if he does drop his big rock into the pond and see just to clear things out. One, how many heroes survive that? How many manage to get off the island? How many manage to survive in some other way? Does Thor survive? So on and so forth. And even if all of the heroes who were on the island that day die, does Ultron live to Thanos showing up?
So, I think if the island gets dropped, I think it's a pretty easy call. Hulk survives.
He's the Hulk.
Even if the island dropped on him.
He's not comics Hulk. I think that might kill him. But
I mean, he snapped and didn't die.
Yeah, shit, you got me there. All right, fair enough. Big rock, probably not good enough to do the job.
I mean, he might be wrecked for a while. His pride will definitely be wounded. We might have a similar story to the events of Thor Ragnarok.
He ends up on Sakaar, yeah.
Or he ends up at home and is just like, Hulk mad and sad. Hulk be Hulk for a while. Get over Hulk's shit. We have got a Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, because the Kamar-Taj is not affected by this. This is not something that the wizards care about.
Thor is questionable.
If Hulk can survive the island drop, I think Thor probably can too.
Okay. Loki is a definite.
He's not even on the planet.
No.
He's on Asgard chilling, eating figs.
Well, and in that sense, well...
Does Odin survive?
Well, Odin's on the planet, though.
Odin's on Earth.
But he's very far away.
He's in at that point, an old folks' home in New York.
Right.
So, the reason that's important is because if Odin doesn't survive, Hela gets loose several years early.
Sure.
Or at least a year.
And in that sense, I'm not sure Thor and Loki being around or not matters because there's other shit to deal with.
Because without the very specific series of events that happen leading Hulk to end up on Sakaar, Thor Ragnarok goes very differently. Yeah. And I'm not sure the boys win that. But then again, Hulk isn't a huge factor in the final fight in that movie.
No, he mostly just keeps Fenrir off their asses. Not a inconsiderable.
No, certainly
contribution. Not. But let's just forget about the Norse guys.
They're
going to be busy if they're not dead. However, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, none of them are on the planet. None of them really give a shit about Earth. So.
Well, except for the guy from Earth, he will be pretty peeved.
Peeved, yeah, but peeved is all. Like.
I mean, I think he might be like, my dad just tried to destroy Earth.
All my favorite stuff's from there.
Yeah. He might be like, guys, we got to go figure out what's going on Earth.
I don't think so. I think he's peeved. I do not think Peter Quill voluntarily goes to Earth.
That's a big thing. That might be part of this storyline.
He basically never has voluntarily gone to Earth until he woke up there and there was a Thanos army to fight.
Well, and that's another thing too, is that there is Thanos. So, Gamora and Drax, they're all chasing Thanos.
And Thanos might head to Earth, and they might end up there, but I just don't think Peter voluntarily takes them there.
Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy is probably a late ad.
Yeah.
Much like Captain Marvel, who hell knows where she is. She's doing shit.
She loves the Skrulls. She's a Skrullaboo. It's fine.
And Wakanda, we feel.
Wakanda survives one way or another. They're too high tech to be worried about Big Rock, unless Big Rock was dropped on them, and it wasn't.
No. I'm trying to see who else might be around.
Point of fact, T'Chaka is still around. I also don't think Wakanda does anything about Ultron. I'm pretty sure they just keep hiding. Until Ultron comes knocking for more delicious vibranium.
Yeah, I think
and then they handle the problem.
The only thing, yeah. It'd be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, because there's not that many Wakandan soldiers, and there's a lot of Ultrons, but Wakanda has all the vibranium.
Honestly, Thanos isn't stupid. He will probably watch that happen and then pick up the pieces.
True, but he also didn't do anything in the canon timeline until, God, what was the fine I'll do it myself moment?
Somebody failed to bring him some stone or another.
Was it Age of Ultron? Let's stick to the timeline.
It's not like we haven't just remembered, or you haven't just watched these movies.
Yeah, no, it's not like we've been doing a rewatch of them. That's not at all what was happening. I don't remember what it was, but it was before. I think it might have honestly been Age of Ultron. I think that might have been the point where he goes, you know what? This is babies. I'll just handle this myself.
Interesting. So yeah, you can expect whatever faction is left after Ultron and Wakanda fight, because he's going to make that an early priority. He wants his cool body. Yeah. Or at least a cooler version of the body he has. He wants the vibranium to make more Ultrons for him to command around and, assume direct control of.
How does he win in that scenario? Does he just see the trap coming and fucking juke it?
What's that?
If in the scenario where he doesn't have the Vision's body, how does he win?
That was the question we just kind of hand waved. Is I don't know. It happens. I mean,
he sees that one trap where Vision burns him out of the internet. He sees that shit coming and jukes it. That's good enough.
Yeah. Or a key player at any other time, instead of living, dies. Maybe he never loses the loyalty of Scarlet Witch and Pietro. That would help a lot.
I mean, But fucking as we've seen, if he doesn't lose the loyalty of Wanda, eventually that's just a big win button.
So
you know what? Actually, that's an interesting scenario. We've discussed that Ultron is not. He is ultimately a thinking being. He has free will. He's not perfect. He's not rigid mechanical perfection. So what if instead of turning on him, Wanda manages to convince him to not try and kill all the humans, to try and take over and be a benevolent dictator, but not extinction level event them, because I'm pretty sure that means that Wanda and Pietro won't turn on him, and it also means there's probably a lot more living Avengers after that. Tony is still definitely dead.
Yeah, Tony's still gone, and I don't see Cap just standing down. That's not how he works.
No. Tony, Cap, still definitely dead. But in a scenario where Ultron isn't trying to destroy the whole world, a lot more people survive, and you can just sort of slot Ultron in as Doom.
Yeah. I mean, and then the question becomes, could Doom stop Thanos? Well, he'll damn well try.
I think we've had that question answered in comics. Yes. Yes, he fucking can.
I feel like it would shake out eventually in the end. I mean, I think the trick here is, how do they ultimately stop Thanos? In the way the movies play out, time travel. Can Ultron figure out time travel? Yes, especially since Bruce Banner yet lives.
And also, I mean, he's Tony's kid and he has the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can.
He's got it. He's fine.
Notably, it took fucking at the Ebony Mall like the solid afternoon to figure. Once he had a Pym particle in his hand, I was like, oh, well, I could use this to time travel. I bet it took him like 10 minutes once he had Pym particles.
Might be a little harder. There might be more of a sifting through the rubble of Hank Pym's house to find some particles event, or buy them off of Lex Luthor, Yellow Jacket.
Darren Cross would absolutely work with Ultron.
Oh, hell yeah. Darren, especially if money's involved.
Keep your friends rich and your enemies rich, and wait to find out which is which.
I understand you have access to incredible science, and you like money.
Both of those things are true. Would you like some science?
I love science. He just hucks a case of money at him. Yeah, honestly, I think, whether or not time travel comes into it, they're going to have adversity. Because I feel like Thanos is going to strike at the end of that Wakanda-Ultron battle. Whoever comes out on top, that's when Thanos is going to strike.
I think Thanos, you know what, actually, and this has been a theory on the internet for a while, pretty sure Thanos was waiting for Odin to be dead.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
Because Odin would have fucking curb stomped him.
Sure.
Odin would have turned him into fucking purple mush. So, big theory on the internet is that's why he starts his run on Earth right after Thor Ragnarok. Oh, Asgard's gone? Cool. Well, I can finally go after one of their protectorates.
Yeah.
Because the 9 realms are located in wildly different places. They're like in different galaxies. They're connected by Yggdrasil, by like a quantum tunnel. In the MCU terminology.
Sure.
So that Earth is one of Odin's realms. It's one of his protectorates.
Yeah.
You can't directly attack Earth with a space army and hope to win unless you're 1, stronger than Odin, which basically nobody is, or 2, one of Odin's kids who he's not going to come curb stomp, which is why Thanos sends Loki there. Mm-hmm. So the scuttlebutt is that Thanos didn't know that Loki was Odin. He just thought, he had no way of knowing that. So he was just waiting for Odin to be dead.
Right.
And then Odin died, and Asgard was destroyed.
Or at the very least, busy.
And you notice where he showed up? He showed up at their escape ship.
Yeah.
Like, oh good, I can finally handle this.
So yeah, and again, for as fucking bug shit insane as he is, canny strategist.
He's a canny strategist because he waits for Odin to die.
Yeah.
So I figure even if there is a big fight, even if Doom is fighting Wakanda for years, because that would probably be a drawn-out battle, we have until timeline-wise Thor Ragnarok. Because provided there's no other overarching reason why he just dies of old age, Odin's just going to die when he dies.
Right.
So, and then Hela's going to get loose, and either Hela will start trying to conquer the galaxy, which will force Thanos to respond. Because Hela, he's in there. He's in the galaxy.
Right.
Or Hela is ultimately defeated by Thor in however manner, and Asgard is destroyed, because that's pretty clearly how you have to beat Hela. So long as Asgard's around, she's going to keep getting stronger.
That's the prophecy.
At which point he immediately attacks. So a lot of stuff could happen. There's a bunch of up in the air stuff there, but I feel like ultimately they win. And as much as I do adore Captain America, I'm pretty sure without Cap there, they win better.
They might. I mean, they end up taking a different path, but I feel like they get to the same endpoint, maybe even right down to the time travel. Like, just because of who they still have, and look at Infinity War and Endgame, you've got a Sorcerer Supreme, you have a Hulk, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy with the knowledge they have, including Nebula.
You are minus one Anthony Stark.
And one Cap.
And without those two, Endgame's a lot harder to pull off.
Sure. And it's there is the curious question of how do they get the Soul Stone? The one on the planet.
Because Ultron doesn't have anyone to sacrifice for it.
Hell no. And we have probably lost. Oh.
He's come up with something, ladies and gentlemen.
The twins.
Because they're still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Shit! And that allows you to bring a cool line back, which is like they're fighting over who gets to go, and then Pietro just gets to turn and goes, "You didn't see this coming," and then leap off.
Oh shit! My feels. Yeah, I feel like this ends up being different in a cool Elseworlds or What If, as is more appropriate, kind of way. But I think we still hit pretty much the same story beats. You've got yourself a Tony Stark replacement. You're missing a bunch of human agents, which can be made up for by Ultron bots or whatever baddens we pick up. I think things get worse faster because we don't have Tony and Spider-Man in New York, or a Spider-Man that can climb on a spaceship and survive in New York. But
they would still attack New York because that's where Doctor Strange hangs out. That's where the fucking Time Stone is. Mm-hmm. Which is what they were after in New York. And it's good shit. I think you can still do the snap just fine. Ultron can snap, no problem. Put the stones on any of the other Ultron bots, I'll snap and then move. It's fine.
Exactly. Like, the line changes from I am Iron Man to fucking I am Legion.
Yeah. Either they win Infinity War, either it goes better with a lot more loss of human life because, there's been war for several years before that. Also, I think there's an outside shot Killmonger's in charge of Wakanda by the time Infinity War happens, if Ultron wins.
Maybe, because if you don't have the situation that the Civil War situation, you're not going to have S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives inside Wakanda.
More importantly, if you have a extant super science robot who is trying to invade Wakanda for the purposes of getting all that sweet, delicious vibranium, well, a certain Eric Stevens has a way in.
He will Dougie up to that robot and be like, "What's up? You want some help?"
And he's a special forces guy who's trained to destabilize regimes. He absolutely knows the benefits of of being able to call in, reinforcements. He will align himself with Ultron for the purposes of taking over Wakanda, then give Ultron some vibranium, because he doesn't give a shit about vibranium.
No.
All Ultron has to do is promise him all of the people who are oppressed throughout the world, yeah, I'll let you grab some space lasers and kill all their oppressors. They're just humans. I don't care that much about them.
And it follows...
His morality compass, Wanda, is not going to have a problem with that. She's fucking Sokovian. Yeah, okay, let's take down some oppressors.
Yeah.
I'm honestly for that.
I kind of like this version.
I
like this ragtag bunch of heroes and villains that kind of hate each other, that are like, all right, but Thanos, though.
Yeah, and, either they win Infinity War because you have a much more militant group of people who are much more ready for an attack, essentially.
Well, and I don't know that they do, just because the big balls are going to drop when they dropped.
By the time Thanos comes to Earth, he's kind of already won, and he's just sort of waiting. Because by the time he comes to Earth, there's no Tony Stark. He probably just kidnapped Doctor Strange and got the Time Stone.
Well, and Doctor Strange should still do his thing, and, Thanos needs to get the Time Stone for us to get through this. Okay.
There you go. By the time he has the Time Stone, you can't really beat him. Because, notably, when they finally did destroy the Mind Stone, he just undestroyed it. And it's not like he couldn't do that if they had destroyed it an hour earlier.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I feel like either they win Infinity War, not likely, or, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a much grimmer, but still victorious endgame.
Yeah. Well, that was a fun circle we talked in for half an hour.
I don't feel like we covered much coherently. That was just jabbering, but...
I mean, I think, to solidify it all, watch Infinity War and Endgame again and replace some of the major characters with other major characters.
Other, more villainous
sure.
equivalents, essentially.
Yeah.
Because we're... Yeah, no, that's there's so many little tiny... That would make a great what if.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I'm not the one who's going to write it because... Well, you know what? If you want to give me some money, I will.
Yeah. And, Marvel, if you're listening, if you want us to do an episode of What If, we're open to that.
Yeah, fuck, I'll write for it. I don't give a shit. I got some cool ideas. I got a good visual of a Doom teasing Ultron. He likes to wear capes sometimes.
He does like a good cape. Who doesn't like a good cape? I don't feel like we got anything else.
No, this was a cool question. If you guys ever have something you want us to cover, I can't guarantee we'll always cover it, but, drop us a comment, or if you know us personally, hit us up, and we'll think about it. We like to, have podcasts to do.
Yeah, they're really nice. Everything's better when nerds talk about it. Fuck it!